Hi, thank you so much for joining us today. I am Leslie Perry from the Professional Beauty Association, and we are back again for another week of Beacon Creative Conversations and really starting to talk more career conversations. I'm so excited to have with us today Matt and Jen Martinelli, who are the founders of Canvas Recruit. Just cannot wait to have this conversation with you. You have so much great energy, enthusiasm, and like so much great information for students in the industry and their careers. I'm just so thrilled that you are making the time for us today. So thank you both for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Leslie. We're so excited.
Absolutely.
Yes. So first things first, like where did this idea for Canvas Recruit come from? And maybe for those who aren't familiar with Canvas Recruit, if you could tell us a little bit about what is Canvas Recruit?
Yeah. So Canvas Recruit is in essence a digital representation of your work. So it's like your mini website as a future beauty professional or beauty professional. So you can come to our site. It's absolutely free. You answer some questions, you sync it with your Instagram, you can upload video, you have a little bio, and then you hit publish, and it's this beautiful representation of who you are as a human, who you are in terms of all you've accomplished in your career, right? Even through beauty school, all of your beautiful assignments, and then you can share that with the world. And then, from a recruitment perspective, get hired, or even from a collaboration perspective, hey, I really want to work with you. I need you to be my mentor. This is my work. Check me out. So really from a network perspective, but also from a resume building and a celebratory perspective of this is all I've done, and this is my work, and this is who I am. And so a really beautiful way in it digitally where you can share your work online.
Yeah, and I think where the whole idea started was Jen and I collectively worked at Millennium Software for about 20 years, which is one of the biggest salon software companies in the beauty industry. And we had the amazing opportunity to work with so many salons, their employees, owners, and managers. And the number one issue that we literally got every single day was, how do I find talent, right? And the reason why it's so hard for this industry is because there's no creative hub that truly showcases our work from a recruitment perspective and a career perspective.
From a creative perspective, right?
So like the Word
doc
resume doesn't work for beauty pros, right? LinkedIn doesn't work for beauty pros because it's not creative enough, right? It's not a creative outlet enough. So we created this platform to really give artists and students an outlet to really showcase and shine, and then allow those businesses to be able to find them with really cool filters and search queries.
Right, and they can share their portfolio. So we talk about it all the time in beauty school. You go through that resume writing process, but then how do you share creatively what you're working on, right? So with the Canvas Recruit link, you can literally create all your, your profile and then share out your link, right? So post career fair, like, hey, we met last week, check me out. Here's my digital portfolio. And so a really beautiful way to digitize yourself, but also in a really human way. That showcases who you are and what your work is.
And the questions that we ask are really done with purpose. Because of our background and our knowledge, we've worked with so many owners, we know what they're looking for talent, right? So we know what kind of questions, we know what kind of KPIs, and we're asking these really, really vital questions. So you're answering them, and they're being able to search for you and find the right people for their business.
Exactly.
And why is a digital portfolio now so important? Like probably one of the top things that you should make sure you have once you're ready to graduate.
So I think that's great. I think a great question, but I think we're all realizing the power of technology, right? As we're all stuck in our homes,
stuck at home,
and we're still trying to humanize ourselves, right? How do we humanize ourselves? Through video, right? Like we're not calling each other on the phone. We're getting on these video conferences. We're sharing more about ourselves than ever. And the digital portfolio humanizes you in a digital way where you can now share your link out with the world without even having to meet. And actually what's funny is a lot of people on our platform are willing to relocate. So how, as an artist, are you willing to relocate to other areas and explore them without leaving your house? Well, you have a digital resume, right? You have your digital portfolio. You can be seen and be heard without going anywhere. And I think also the power of the metrics, right? So you can start applying and doing all these things, and how many portfolio views have you had? And so I think just really digitizing it brings a whole nother level of professionalism, but also a lot of insight about what's happening with your career. What direction are you going in?
So Jen made a good point. So about 70% of our students that are on Canvas Recruit are willing to relocate, and which means, and why it's so cool on the platform. So say you're from Arizona, right? But you want to work in California, you want to work at a hair salon in California. If you select California, when California salons do searches, you're going to appear in that search, even though you're based in Arizona.
Exactly. So we're really broadening the scope of like, it's not just about your small town, you know, your town or wherever you are. It's about big picture, right? Like the world is your opportunity. What do you want to go after? And our passion and our purpose, and we talk about this a lot in our introduction, is, you know, my purpose is to empower the beauty space. You know, my background comes from, my mom was a single parent. She was 17. My dad was not really in the picture. As a child, I felt really like I didn't have a voice and like I was unheard. And so my purpose and going through a whole purpose discovery for myself and building Canvas Recruit with Matt was all about giving the artist a voice. And so this is my full passion. And I feel like with this digital resume, it's your digital imprint, it's your digital voice. And you can be heard anywhere. I mean, you want to send somebody in Germany or Italy, you know, your resume, you know, they're going to know who you are just by a simple click of a button. And so that's the beauty of it.
And you just mentioned something that I wanted to get into as well today, beyond the Canvas Recruit side of things, but that idea of your purpose. And I know a lot of people go into cosmetology school for a lot of reasons. Maybe it's what you really wanted to do, or you didn't know what else to do, or, you know, who knows what it is. But once you get your license, you think, oh, I have to work behind the chair or in the treatment room if I'm an esthetician or a makeup artist or something, but that's not the case. So talk about, like, there's so much opportunity. Where would you start? Like, what do you recommend students do to start to figure out, like, what do I want my career to be and look like?
Yeah, so Matt and I host classes all the time on discovering your purpose, right? And for me, I take them through this exercise that I personally went through. So your passion brought you to beauty school, right? But your purpose is way beyond your passion, right? It's that deep gut core, that soul-wrenching reason why you were brought here, right? And so I take everyone through an exercise that I went through where I defined 3 life-defining moments before the age of 13. And I do that because, you know, you're living this life of, you know, chaos and craziness and just following and, you know, crossing the T's and dotting the I's and just taking the next step. But really, when you sit back and you think of that young version of yourself, that most truest version of yourself before the age of 13, you really start to get authentic with who you really are as a person, and not all of the other things that are really transforming you from a personality perspective, the people that you're around, right? And so I take them through this exercise of 3 life-defining moments before the age of 13. I instantly shot back to the 8-year-old version of myself. I haven't thought about her in so long. And just remembering that vulnerable girl who felt like my mom wasn't around a lot. She had me at 17. She was trying to figure her life out. My dad was not there. I was the youngest of all the kids, so really feeling like I was annoying and discovering all of these false beliefs about myself, which sounds like a terrible exercise, right? Like I quickly wrote down, I'm annoying, I was abandoned, and I'm not good enough, right? My immigrant grandmother raised me. She didn't speak English. I remember being 8 years old and translating documents for her. And then really taking those life experiences and transforming them into positive attributes. And so yes, as a result, you know, my mom wasn't around a lot, didn't have a lot of guidance, but that also created the adult version of me that was willing to empower everybody wherever I went, because I knew what it felt like to feel lost, right? And so really going back to that core value of before the age of 13, who were you, right? And how did that young little girl transition into the adult version of who you are today, right? And that becomes part of your story. And that also becomes part of the things that you make really hard decisions. Like Matt and I had to make really hard decisions because I shot out of bed and I said, Matt, my purpose is empowerment, right? I felt like a really disempowered child that had no voice as a kid. And as an adult, I became an amazing leader because without even realizing it, I was empowering people to have a voice, to feel safe. I was leading in an empathetic and compassionate way because I knew what it felt like to feel annoying. So I always wanted to create this safe environment. And so really going back to that core and understanding why you are the adult version of who you are. And I popped out of bed and I said, my purpose is empowerment. Well, what happened after is Matt and I both quit our jobs. We have 2 little kids. We moved to California. We lived in 1 bedroom with my little kid. Like all 4 of us slept in, well, we had 4 beds in 1 little bedroom. And we made some really hard decisions. And guess what? We were more alive than we ever were when we had our cushion jobs, you know, both of us working full time, hustling, bustling, making good money. We were more empowered and felt more fulfilled in making that tough decision because we knew that this was the core of who we were. And we knew that it was bringing us closer to our purpose. And so the purpose discovery is so important because you're going to be thrown so many different things at you. And yes, you can take this for more money or take that for more money, right? And that's cool, right? Because we all need to survive and we all need money. But I believe that with the passion comes the money. And if you can have the money and and follow your passion, and it just is that much more magical.
Yeah, and the reason why we had to make those really tough decisions is because we waited so long in our lives to really kind of sit down and really identify what our purpose was. So that's why we love talking to students, because they have this unique advantage to do this now, not wait till you're 38 or 37 years old. And so when we talk to students, we say, if you can really just sit down and think about what sets your soul on fire, what makes you so happy, you can start making and planning for those things now, right? So, you know, if you want to be the most amazing hairstylist in the world, or if you want to be the best salon owner or barbershop owner, or if you want to travel the world doing photo shoots for a cool magazine, like, you need those, that's all going to be starting now, right? You need to make the right decisions. You have to go to the right places and find the right businesses that's going to take you to those places in your life.
Exactly. And I think it all starts with that purpose discovery, right? And what were you brought here to do? And then you can make those really difficult decisions and say, you know what? I'm not going to take that for more money because it's not in alignment with what my future self wants, right? And I used to often picture a 10-year-older version of myself saying, like, what should I be doing? And oftentimes that person has the answers, right? It's all within. It's just really kind of thinking about what those future goals are. Are they in alignment with my purpose? And all of this starts with the purpose discovery, the whole discovery of your purpose exercise.
And then it's easy after that, because then you could set goals. So we set 3 goals, or we set 3 benchmarks that would make us truly fulfilled. And if things were coming towards us that didn't align with those things, we didn't do it.
Right. Well, and that's why Canvas Recruit, yes, it's a form of portfolio, but it's your story. We're storytellers. Who are you? Who are you in this space? What are you looking to do? What does your soul say? And I think that that's really the beautiful part of it, right? Like, a lot of people want to come up with this, like, it's a recruitment platform. Like, it's way beyond that, right?
But what's so powerful about that is when you could be really authentic in yourself and you're talking about your career and what your purpose is, that's where you're going to make better matches with business owners, because when they can really get to who you are as a human, they're going to be like, wow, they could be a really great fit for my, you're going to be able to make better decisions. You're going to work for places that really fit you, rather than going to a place and realizing 6 months, like, this is not my
this
tribe.
This is not for me. Yeah.
Right? No more of that, right? We don't want to waste your time. They don't want to waste their time. Like, you're going to be able to find the right place first, because you're true to who you are and what you want to accomplish.
Exactly.
Well, and I love that, you are both proof that you don't have to leave the industry in order to fulfill your purpose either. And that's what we want students to realize too, that once you get your license, you don't have to leave the industry altogether if being behind the chair is not the thing for you and that's not your purpose in life. That you can stay. I mean, it's just, there's so much breadth within the industry as well. You can stay and still fulfill that purpose.
Definitely.
When you figure that out, right?
There are so many avenues and there is so much abundance. It's just a matter of seeing that abundance and really aligning with what that purpose means. And maybe your purpose is to enlighten people and give them, excite them. And maybe that means you're an educator, right? And so there's so many things you can do. It's endless as long as you're true to your core purpose.
Yeah, but to be able to have that perspective and go through school and have your license is really unique, right? And then you could be doing,
no matter what you do,
whether it's marketing or whether it's social media, like Jen said, education, like, there's so many different avenues from a career perspective, but to be able to say that you've got your license and have that perspective is really, really valuable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And so, like, one thing that we're super excited about this year for Beacon 2021 is we are doing away with the resume, so to speak, because in the past, one of the things that you would have to apply is the resume. So we're still calling it the resume, but the cool thing this year is that you're actually creating your resume, you're creating your Canvas on Canvas Recruit. You're going to download that PDF and then upload that to apply for Beacon, because we want them to have something super valuable that lasts beyond just Beacon. So if you want to talk through it, I'm going to share my screen real quick just to show kind of like the homepage of what it looks like and what that process is for our Beacon students who are watching and what that is going to look like. So bear with me here.
And then we also we have some exciting announcements at the end of the month that we'll share with you guys that are around Beacon and the portfolio. So we'll share that as well. But there's some cool things coming out.
Yes.
The pipeline.
Yeah. So I think creating a Canvas portfolio is so awesome that you guys are now accepting it.
I'm your Google Assistant. To get started, download the Google Home app on the
So I'm in the office today, and sometimes the Alexa talks to us in the office. So she must have heard something that just made her think we were talking to her. So.
It's so funny. Actually, when we talk to students and we're doing the same thing, there's a girl that I often show her. I show Alexia's portfolio, and every time I say Alexia, Alexa starts talking to me every time.
So there we go. So hopefully now you can see my screen, and I'm up on the homepage. So yes, and
So
it's beautiful. And what I also love about you is that you're always willing to change and upgrade and just continually making improvements to this site so that it makes, you know, just so much impact for those who have created a canvas and puts their best foot forward. So I just love that. So
100%. Yeah, it's you know, we've taken a lot back from our technology days and really understand what user experience, what user flows need to happen. So we spent a lot of time and energy in making sure that it's just really easy, seamless, but most importantly, really beautiful.
Definitely. So this is, yeah, so you're on canvasrecruit.com. We are building an app. It will launch soon, but for now it's just in your web browser. But if you come in and you create an account, I don't know, Leslie, if you want to just browse a canvas, go to canvases and browse just so we can kind of look. If you want to look up in the keyword search and just look for Alexia, just because I know Alexia has a lot of the fields completed. I also think Alexia is a Beacon student. Alexia Prisby, if you can click on her.
Yes, she was a Beacon student.
Yeah.
Yes, she was.
So I think she's a really good example of what a portfolio can look like. If you just want to scroll really quick, Alexia even puts on here that she was a Beacon student under awards, which is awesome in that middle section. So it's the 2019 iHeart competition.
Right here. Yes.
Yeah, so really awesome. Attending Beacon is so cool, not only for the content, but now you have an awesome award that you can share on your portfolio. This is the bio section, and so really cool. But if you, and then her Instagram, her video, if you want to play her video, that last one, the last icon, that's really cool. So you could see how she shows up. You don't have to play the whole thing, but yeah. So it's from her iPhone, really super raw and authentic. She's applying for a mentorship opportunity that we had on here, but really beautiful in that you can showcase your work. You can showcase just who you are, telling a story, what you're doing in the beauty space, why you love it so much. You have an Instagram sync right below that. But you can, so what you would do is once you create this, it's really easy, guys. People are creating it in minutes. You know, if you want to put a little bit extra work, you can kind of come back and, you know, put a little bit more time, but it's really, really simple and easy. You're just answering questions, syncing to your Instagram. But if you scroll all the way to the top, Leslie, how they can save it as a PDF is if you go to the print icon at the top, right under bookmark, and you can say print. So you can print this, right? So if you guys want to print it, or you can save it as a PDF. So if you're going somewhere and you want to print and you want it beautiful, you want to frame this thing, you can do it either, or you can save it as a PDF, save it to your desktop, and that's where you're then going to upload it to apply for Beacon in that section, in the resume section. So really beautiful, but also you can just copy your link URL at the top and share that with the world, right? So you can drive anybody to your website, to your mini website or mini portfolio, and they can come and see your work.
Yeah, even if they're not a Canvas Recruit member,
even if they're not a member,
they can still see your portfolio.
Yeah, so you're just gonna come here, say get started, it's all free, and you're just gonna start building, and it's gonna be beautiful.
Yep.
So exciting. What are some tips that you have for the students as they're creating their Canvas for Beacon? What should they include? I mean, how do you make yours just stand out? What recommendations do you have?
Yeah, so the first thing that always jumps out at me, and I make sure I look at every single portfolio.
We do look at all of them.
I literally look at everyone.
Yeah.
So this main image here is really impactful for me.
So this main feature image. Yeah.
So we're getting all different kinds of ideas. People are doing abstract images. People are doing images of hair or color, which is phenomenal. And what's cool about it is it's all about who you are as a human and as an artist, right? It's very customizable. But if you don't have imagery, which some people don't have really cool imagery, you can go to pexels.com. So it's PEXELS.com. They have free high-res downloadable imagery, and you can search abstract, you can search beauty, you can search
anything that speaks to you.
Yeah, but it's really beautiful, and it's gonna make your portfolio really shine and stand out. So this is a big one for me.
Yes. Yeah, I think and there's such a mixture of this main image. Some people are doing their schoolwork, some people just have the mannequin heads and it's their hair, or so there's a huge, you know, diversity in terms of what that feature image looks like. But without the feature image, it does look like a little, you know, it doesn't look as creative, right? So make sure you're uploading that feature image. Also, another biggie for us is we really, really, really believe in the power of video, right? And so the power of video is so much is so important. You know, we even share an example of a commercial where everybody's getting on Zoom calls, right? Like we're all quarantined in our homes, but the power of video is so great that we're, you know, having cocktail hours with people, you know, we're playing board games like digitally. There's so many things we're doing via video to really connect on a human level. And I think at the end of the day, we've talked to so many business owners, guys, and the number one thing they're looking for is not like who can give me the best cut, who can give me the best balayage, who can give me the best facial. You know, it's never any of those things. It's always, who is that person to her core? Can she get along with my staff members? Is she a team player? Is she or he a team player? Is she or he, you know, leading with kindness? Do they have a growth mindset? They're all intangible things that are soft skills, right? They're more soft skills than not. I never ever heard any salon owner say that. So the video aspect helps you really shine from a personality perspective and really get to your core, like, who are you? Why are you here? And what are you here to do? And that on a human connection is going to help you stand out more than anything else will.
Yeah, and then I think obviously answering the questions is important too, but I think work history, we get a lot of questions with students because a lot of them don't have beauty industry experience yet, obviously, because they're still in cosmetology school. So they're like, do I put in additional work history that's outside of the beauty industry? And we're like, yes. It shows so many great qualities, even if you're, you know, at Target or you're a barista at Starbucks or whatever you're doing. There's communication skills, there's working with people,
teamwork, phone skills,
problem solving. There's so many things that you can share, and that it's important for the judges, I'm sure. So even if you don't have beauty industry experience, list your work history for sure.
Definitely. And I think answer as many questions as you can, right? Like, but you know, with reason, but I think really the power of the bio section. So if you scroll down, it's that section with your image, the bio, and that video. And actually Alexia wrote a pretty lengthy bio. She's one of the longest bios we have on Canvas Recruit. Typically they're 5 sentences, and the most effective bios are pretty short and sweet. So don't feel like you have to write a ton, but this section here, this is where you humanize. This is where you form that connection of, you know, ever since I was a little girl, what were you doing? And that's going to trigger with me, oh my God, when I was a little girl, I did that too, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all these little girls and boys that have these great big dreams, you know? And I think it's awesome to remind somebody of where they were at that point in their career. And I think that's really human, that's really vulnerable, and that is where the magic is. And Matt and I coach people on this all the time. Sometimes it's fearful to get out there, but that's also why 9 times out of 10, when I introduce myself, I tell you about my struggles. I tell you about, you know, my childhood. I tell you about all these things, because that has more clout than me telling you I've had 13 years in the beauty industry and I've worked for the biggest brands, and, you know, I've had success with thousands of salon spas. Yes, that's credible, but I really believe that who you are and getting to that core of that and sharing that, being vulnerable and real with people, that's what's going to make you shine, is being you.
Yep.
And I can't stress that more. I mean, we literally sing that all day long to so many people, because that's how powerful we believe it is.
That's how you're going to be able to connect on a much deeper level, right? So whether it's with friends or staff or future employers, like that's how you're going to connect.
Definitely.
And this past year, I keep saying like last year, but it was this year because it was 2020, but this year's Beacon, you both were part of it. And what was that like for you? And just kind of describe, like, for students that are watching or considering applying, from your perspective, what is the value of applying for Beacon? Because obviously I think it's great and amazing, but I'm kind of biased. So, you know, I always ask our guests, what to you is the best thing about Beacon, and why should someone apply and take that time and make that effort?
Absolutely. I think physically being there is such an accomplishment. Like, you have to feel, just sitting in that chair amongst all of these amazing other students and all of these amazing educators, is just a sense of accomplishment. I think just getting there itself is a really cool and important experience for your career. It's going to set the tone for your career. I really believe that. I think the content and the stuff, I mean, I have been in the beauty space, like I said, for a long time. I was learning stuff. And I was like, wow, like, it was just really, not only is it inspirational, it'll inspire you to take charge. I mean, not that you're not taking charge of your career, but it's going to inspire you times 10 to really take it up to the next notch. It's literally going to help guide you. Like, what does it mean? You know, where do I think I'm going? It's going to light a fire inside of you. I really believe that, especially because I wasn't a student and I felt that way when I left. I think there's tons of opportunity to network which I think Matt and I talk all the time. Your network is your net worth. If you can go there, not only for the content, not only for the, you know, celebration of how impactful this will be for your career and how amazing it's going to set you up, but also from the networking perspective of you're going to meet all of these awesome influencers. You're going to have photography opportunities with them. You're going to be able to, you know, hey, like, check me out. I want to do these things. Can you help me with this? Can you be my mentor, right? There's so many opportunities on a multitude of levels to just be there for those 2 days. I almost wish it was longer. It was, I mean, it was an amazing, amazing event.
For me, it was the level of like seriousness when I got there. Like people like.
Right, I agree.
It's a lot to
you forget
be there.
That they're students.
And they're
almost.
students and they're leaving their homes and they're going across the country, and like people are focused and they want to learn and they want to grow, and you're like, you feel that, right?
Yeah.
And what I love, I love just the sheer diversity of the crowd. You saw new students and old students and people that were in their 40s coming back. Like, I just think like the inclusiveness was amazing, and the seriousness and the professionalism. You just know that it's like the best of the best. And I think that just it's invaluable, really, I think, for your career. And I think what we're going to be doing, incorporating into Canvas Recruit as well. There's some things that we're going to be discussing later in this month, but it's just an incredible piece of this journey that you could be a part of.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that every student everywhere should apply for Beacon. Yeah. I mean, no, hands down. And I'm not saying that because I'm talking to you. We literally tell people every day, all the time. We do all the time. We do demos, we do classes, and we're always like, guys, you got to get to Beacon, because that's how relevant, that's how important we believe it is. And I know even just as recently as like a Facebook chat, there was salon owners that were looking for people to hire. They were looking for students, and everybody was chiming in and saying, well, look for the students that went to Beacon. And it was like, oh my God, awesome. Everybody knows it. So I think it's an incredible feather in your cap to go to Beacon, not for so many reasons. Just getting there is on day one is amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. No, for sure. And I forgot at the beginning again to let people know, if you have some questions, you can type them in. And I have my colleague is here with me behind the scenes, Paige Peterson. So if you have questions, she can get those to us. So we have a couple of minutes left, so I'll wait for that. But in the meantime, just to share real quick too, just the important dates. So pre-COVID, we had planned on opening Beacon like we typically do around that August timeframe, and realizing that we want to give students and schools something to like get excited about and feel inspired about, especially if you're still home and maybe doing distance learning, online learning, can't get into the school to do work. So we are opening it up next week already. We're opening that application so that you can start that. And if you're not ready to apply quite like right on June 15th, that's fine. We're keeping it open longer as well. So we've extended the deadline all the way through October 9th this year too. So giving people plenty of time to get just an amazing application together, work on their Canvas on Canvas Recruit to make sure it's exactly how they want it before they submit the application. So yeah, we're super excited about that.
And to add to that too, so Jen and I are very hands-on, obviously, especially with the students. So we actually speak and help students like almost every single day, like help with their portfolio. So if you guys have any questions, or if you want to throw things out at us, whether it's your bio or your video or your image, we will talk to you any time of the day, any day of the week. Do you want to give them our emails?
Leslie, we are going to give them our contact info, right?
Yeah, we can send it out in an email to everybody so that they have it, or we'll definitely make sure that they have that too. So
just feel free to email us or text us, whatever.
Yeah. So we're really about making sure it looks great.
Yeah.
That's incredible too, that you're so willing to, and I could attest to that, how willing and open you are to being so helpful, and really encourage students to, take that offer seriously. Like, someone's offering to help, take it out. I know it can put you in a spot of vulnerability to share those things, and to take constructive feedback, but it's really important, and just to have that offer to help is just amazing. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I will ask Paige. I don't think there's any questions, but I'm going to double check before I ask my last question. So
no, absolutely no. No, we don't currently have any questions, but
do you have one?
You guys? I was like, where were you guys when I got out of cosmetology school?
I know. Everyone can't believe, they're like, this has never existed. This is so crazy,
I know. I salute you guys for recognizing that there was and continues to be a need in the industry for cosmetology students. And I just, as a cosmetologist and went through the process, boy, this would just make it so much easier to have had it at your fingertips like this. Two, I know just in the job search of going to different salons and having to carry a portfolio with you and just being able to have it at your fingertips. So I salute you on that and continuing the good work for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
It means a
thank
lot.
Yeah. So I'll send it back over to you.
Okay, thank you.
Leslie.
Yeah, so I mean, my last question is any final advice, career-wise, otherwise, for students that are starting this journey in the industry?
So other than really defining what your purpose is, my whole mantra is the fear of regret is bigger than the fear of failure. So that's really kind of what helped Matt and I make leaps and bounds of things that were really scary about, like quitting our jobs and having no source of income to fully build our passion, and having 2 little kids, and trying to make it all work out. And I think if you were to really think about the fear of regret, right? Like, so in 10 years, are you going to look back and regret that you never did it? Or are you going to fear that you just didn't make it, right? Or like, you didn't get that opportunity, or you didn't, so my fear of regret became bigger than my fear of failure. And I think I used to not think that way, and I used to not put myself out there at all. So I would get no no's, but I would also get no yeses. And so I started to realize that I would say, oh, when I'm 100%, I'll try out for that, right? But what I started to realize is everybody that was at 70% was trying out, and they were getting it, right? So by the time I was 100%, everybody had passed me by. And so my advice would be, I know a lot of students are fearful of a lot of things and putting themselves out there, but the Canvas portfolio will make you look so beautiful. And our goal is to give you the confidence to really apply yourself to those things that might be a little bit scary. But again, keeping in mind the fear of regret is bigger than the fear of failure, and failure is not failure anyway, right? It's a growing opportunity to really kind of get yourself better, right? Because that's where I was missing out on. I wasn't trying out, so I wasn't getting it, but I also wasn't learning. I wasn't being able to go and learn, and oh, well, I kind of wasn't that great, but now I know what to do better, right? I was just not applying myself. And so I think that was one of my biggest regrets, and I've changed that completely in my life, where now I'm just like going for everything. But I think that that's so important, is to really just go for it. No matter the fear of failure is just not that big. And I think that it's a learning opportunity. So definitely apply yourself, put yourself out there as much as you can, because you will regret it if you don't. Yeah,
you stole my exact answer.
Sorry.
So, but no, I would agree with that. I think it's so relevant. We talk about it all the time. We say that everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear, right? So I think just don't let that take over your life. Jen, actually, between all of us, Jen actually had this idea 5 years ago.
Yes.
But we just didn't have the courage. We didn't have the mindset to allow us to take these risks. So who knows where we would have been now.
Well, and that's the thing. I used to always be like, well, why me? I'm not smart enough. I'm not this. I'm not. But then, you know what? You have to. Why not you? And I think that you have to just really come from this empowering place of honoring your purpose, and just plowing through it all, and just applying yourself to everything.
Yeah. If you do what sets your soul on fire, what your purpose is, you will never fail.
I agree.
So
amazing.
Go for it.
Now that reminds me of an acquaintance of mine back in Michigan had shared a story about being in college, and the final essay question, the final exam for the class, they went in and they have a piece of paper, and there's literally one question on this piece of paper, and it just says why. That was the question for the class. And he said people are writing and taking time, and in the meantime someone literally had take 20 seconds and was gone and finished this, how could you, the question is why? And the person who took the 20 seconds, the answer was, why not?
Yes.
And it was like, oh my gosh, it was just kind of blew my mind, whether it's true or not, or it's a great story, but still it really speaks to that, but why not? So
why not?
Yeah, we have to do it. Yeah. So gosh, Jen, Matt, thank you so much. I just, adore both of you, as you know, and really appreciate all that you're doing for the industry, for students, for careers, to take everything to another level. Can't wait till we can be in person and see each other, and not just on video, and hopefully, coming together again. We're very, very hopeful that Beacon 2021 will be live in person in January at the International Salon and Spa Expo. So looking forward to seeing you both then, if not before. But again, thank thank you so much for your time today, for the offers of help and assistance, and for creating this amazing platform for the students to start applying on Beacon. So
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. We so appreciate you all, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, love you
sounds
guys.
good. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye,
Bye.
you too.
Bye.